Captain Zorn of the Galactic Empire's scout ship, Stargazer, yawned as he looked at the boring blue planet on his view screen. Earth was always a dull assignment. The humans there were still arguing about things like climate change and had only managed to send a few robots to their own moon. Zorn and his crew were just doing their usual checkup on this backwater world. "Another quiet day in this system, eh, Captain?" said Lieutenant Vex, Zorn's second-in-command. Zorn nodded, reaching for his cup of hot Glex, a drink that tasted like a mix of coffee and licorice. "Just as always, Vex. Let's do one more scan, and then we can head back to." Suddenly, alarms started blaring all over the ship. Red lights flashed, making Zorn spill his Glex all over his uniform. "What in the name of the Emperor is going on?" Zorn shouted, jumping to his feet. Vex was frantically pushing buttons on her console. Her eyes were wide with shock. "Captain, you're not going to believe this. We've detected a massive fleet hiding behind Earth's moon." Zorn rushed to Vex's station, his heart pounding. "That's impossible. The humans barely have space stations. Show me." The main screen lit up with an image that made Zorn's jaw drop. There, in the moon's shadow, was a fleet of ships unlike anything he had ever seen. They were sleek, almost predatory in design, with strange glowing lines running along their hulls. Zorn counted at least 50 vessels, ranging from small fighters to massive carriers that dwarfed even the Empire's largest battleships. "By the stars," Zorn whispered. "How did we miss this? How long have they been there?" Vex shook her head, her fingers flying over the controls. "Unknown, sir, but that's not even the craziest part. Look at these readings." New data scrolled across the screen. Zorn's eyes widened as he read the information. The ships were putting out energy signatures far beyond anything in the Empire's arsenal. Their hulls were made of materials unknown to Imperial science. And strangest of all, they seemed to be bending space around them in ways that should have been impossible. "This can't be right," Zorn muttered. "Run the scans again." But the results came back the same. Earth, the planet they had dismissed as a cosmic backwater, was hiding a fleet that could probably take on the entire Imperial armada. "Sir," Vex said, her voice shaking, "what do we do?" Zorn took a deep breath, trying to calm his racing thoughts. This discovery would change everything. The balance of power in the galaxy, the Empire's plans for expansion, their entire understanding of human civilization. It was all going to be turned upside down. "Send an encrypted message to High Command," Zorn ordered. "Priority Ultra Red. Tell them Earth is not what we thought, and we may all be in terrible danger." As Vex sent the message, Zorn stared at the image of the hidden fleet. How had the humans kept this a secret? Who else knew about it? And most importantly, what were they planning to do with such incredible firepower? Just then, one of the Earth ships seemed to turn slightly. Zorn felt a chill run down his spine. Had they been spotted? "Vex, power down all non-essential systems. We need to stay hidden." But it was too late. A beam of light, unlike anything Zorn had ever seen, shot out from the Earth ship. It enveloped the Stargazer in a soft blue glow. "We're being scanned," Vex yelled. "But this technology, it's reading things even our own systems can't detect." Zorn gripped the arms of his chair. In all his years of service, he had never felt so helpless. They were outgunned, outclassed, and completely at the mercy of a civilization they had underestimated for centuries. As the light faded, Zorn made a decision. Plot a course out of the system. Maximum speed. "We need to warn the Empire before it's too late." The Stargazer turned and fled, pushing its engines to the limit. Behind them, the Earth fleet remained motionless, a silent threat that promised to reshape the future of the entire galaxy. In his quarters later, Zorn recorded a log entry. His hands were still shaking. "Today we discovered that Earth is not the primitive world we thought it was. They have technology beyond our wildest dreams, and a fleet that could challenge the Empire. The galaxy as we know it will never be the same. And I fear we may have awakened a sleeping giant. The news of Earth's hidden fleet spread through the Galactic Empire like wildfire. Emperor HFY, ruler of 1,000 star systems, sat on his crystal throne, his face a mask of worry. Around him, his advisors argued loudly. "We must attack now," shouted General Kraz, pounding his fist on the table, "before they can use their advanced weapons against us." Ambassador Lyra shook her head. "No, we need to talk to them. Find out how they got this technology. Maybe we can make a deal." Emperor Zax raised his hand, and the room fell silent. "We need more information," he said. "Send our best spies to Earth. Find out everything you can about this fleet and how they kept it secret for so long." Across the galaxy, on the blue-green planet Earth, life went on as usual. People went to work, children played in parks, and no one knew about the storm brewing in the stars above. In a secret underground base deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, a group of Earth's top leaders met. They gathered around a large table, their faces lit by the glow of holographic displays showing the galaxy. "The Empire knows," said President Chen, her voice grave. "Our sensors detected their scout ship. It's only a matter of time before they make a move." Admiral Jackson nodded. "We always knew this day would come. The question is, are we ready?" Dr. Amelia Rodriguez, the lead scientist behind Earth's technological leap, spoke up. "Our ships are far beyond anything the Empire has, but they outnumber us greatly. If it comes to war, it will be a hard fight." As they talked, none of them noticed the tiny robot fly buzzing near the ceiling. It looked just like a normal insect, but its eyes were cameras, sending everything it saw and heard back to an Imperial spy ship hiding in Earth's orbit. On that ship, Agent Zorn, no relation to the captain from Part 1, watched the Earth leaders meeting with growing excitement. "This is incredible," he muttered to himself. They'd been preparing for centuries. Back on Earth, the leaders continued their discussion, unaware they were being watched. "How did we keep this secret for so long?" asked a young diplomat, new to the group. President Chen sighed. "It wasn't easy. Every world leader for the past 300 years has been part of this plan. We've had to hide our true progress, pretend to be less advanced than we are." Admiral Jackson added, "We've also had help. Some alien races, unhappy with the Empire, have been secretly supporting us." On the spy ship, Agent Zorn's eyes widened at this revelation. Allies. The Empire would need to know who they were dealing with. The meeting on Earth went on, discussing their next moves. Should they reveal themselves to the world? Prepare for war? Try to talk to the Empire? As they talked, Dr. Rodriguez brought up a hologram of their fleet. "We have one advantage they don't know about yet," she said with a smile. "Our ships don't just bend space. They can create wormholes, jump anywhere in the galaxy in seconds." Agent Zorn almost fell out of his chair. This was beyond anything he had imagined. With technology like that, Earth could strike anywhere, anytime. The Empire's defenses were useless. Just then, alarms blared on his ship. "No, no, no," Zorn yelled, frantically pushing buttons. Somehow, Earth's sensors had detected his ship. A beam of light shot out from the planet, enveloping his vessel. In the underground base, a new hologram appeared. "We've caught a spy ship," Admiral Jackson announced. "They've been listening to everything." President Chen stood up, her face determined. "Then the choice has been made for us. We can't hide any longer. It's time to show the galaxy who we really are." As Zorn's ship was pulled down to Earth by an unstoppable force, the leaders prepared to address their planet. Centuries of secrecy were about to end. Earth was ready to take its place on the galactic stage. In his ship, Agent Zorn sent one last desperate message to the Empire. "Earth is more powerful than we ever imagined. They have allies. They can jump across the galaxy. And now they know that we know." The message cut off as Zorn's ship entered Earth's atmosphere. The galaxy held its breath, waiting to see what would happen next. The age-old balance of power was about to be shattered, and Earth was holding the hammer. The grand hall of the Imperial Palace was in chaos. Hundreds of alien representatives from across the galaxy shouted and argued. Some waved their tentacles in anger, others flashed warning colors. In the center of it all, Emperor HFY sat on his crystal throne, trying to keep calm. Silence, he roared, his voice echoing through the hall. Slowly, the noise died down. We face a crisis unlike any in our history, Zax continued. Earth, a planet we thought primitive, has revealed itself to be a major power. We must decide how to respond. General Kraz stepped forward, his scales glinting in the light. The answer is simple, Your Majesty. We must strike now before they can use their advanced technology against us. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the crowd. But Ambassador Lara, her 4 eyes blinking rapidly, disagreed. That would be a terrible mistake. We don't know the full extent of Earth's capabilities. What if they have weapons we can't even imagine? The debate raged on. Attack Earth. Try to make peace. Spy more. Everyone had a different opinion. Meanwhile, on a secret Imperial base, Agent Zorn sat in a cell. After his capture by Earth forces, he had been returned to the Empire in a show of good faith. Now, Imperial scientists were examining his ship, trying to understand the strange energy that had pulled it from orbit. Tell us again about their wormhole technology, an interrogator asked Zorn. Zorn sighed. He had told this story 100 times. They can jump anywhere in the galaxy in seconds. Our defenses are useless against that kind of power. Back in the Imperial Palace, a new voice spoke up. It was Dr. Excel, the Empire's top scientist. Your Majesty, I've studied the data from Agent Zorn's ship. The energy readings are off the charts. If we go to war with Earth, I fear we would be outmatched. A hush fell over the room. The mighty Galactic Empire, outmatched. It seemed impossible. Emperor Zax leaned forward on his throne. What do you suggest, Dr. Excel? We need more information, Cell replied. And we need to consider the possibility of seeking an alliance with Earth rather than confrontation. The room erupted in shouts again. Alliance, with a planet that had deceived them for centuries. As the arguments continued, no one noticed a small group of delegates slipping out of the hall. They represented planets that had long chafed under Imperial rule. Now, they saw an opportunity. Earth could be a powerful ally, one whispered. If we support them, maybe they'll help us break free from the Empire. Or they could be a new oppressor, another warned. We need to be careful. In a quiet corner of the palace, General Kraz met with a group of loyal officers. The Emperor is weak, he growled. If he won't take action against Earth, we must do it ourselves. But sir, one officer said, that would be treason. Kraz's eyes narrowed. It's only treason if we fail. Are you with me or against me? As plots and schemes grew in the shadows, Emperor Zax made a decision. We will send a diplomatic mission to Earth, he announced to the assembly. We must learn more before we decide on war or peace. The announcement was met with mixed reactions. Some cheered the peaceful approach, others booed, calling it weak. As the news spread across the galaxy, it reached Earth. In their underground base, President Chen and her team received the message. They want to talk, she said, looking around at her advisors. What do we do? Admiral Jackson frowned. It could be a trick. They might be trying to get spies on our planet. Or, Dr. Rodriguez countered, this could be our chance to establish ourselves as a galactic power without bloodshed. As Earth's leaders debated their response, tension grew throughout the galaxy. Planets chose sides, alliances shifted, and everyone waited to see what would happen when the Empire's diplomats arrived on Earth. In his cell, Agent Zorn looked up at the stars through a small window. Everything's about to change, he murmured. And it's all because of a planet we ignored for so long. The fate of the galaxy now hung in the balance, with Earth at the center of the storm. The next move would determine whether the future brought peace or war, cooperation or conflict. And no one, not even the Emperor himself, could predict what would happen next. The underground base beneath the Rocky Mountains buzzed with activity. Earth's top leaders from around the world had gathered for an emergency meeting. The room was tense as President Chen stood to address them. "The Galactic Empire wants to send diplomats," she began. "We must decide how to respond. Do we reveal ourselves to the world and meet them openly, or do we continue to hide our true capabilities?" The room erupted into debate. Some argued for openness, others for continued secrecy. "We can't hide forever," said Prime Minister Singh of India. "Our people deserve to know the truth." "But if we reveal everything," countered President Okonkwo of Nigeria, "we lose our advantage. The empire might see us as a threat and attack." As the arguments flew back and forth, Dr. Rodriguez, the scientist behind much of Earth's advanced technology, spoke up. "There's something else to consider," she said quietly. The room fell silent. "Our long-range sensors have detected increased activity in the Empire shipyards. They're building up their fleet." A murmur of concern spread through the room. Were they preparing for war? Meanwhile, in cities across the globe, people went about their daily lives, unaware of the momentous decision being made. In New York, Tokyo, Lagos, and countless other places, humans looked up at the stars, never suspecting that their world stood on the brink of a new era. Back in the underground base, a young diplomat named Maya stepped forward. Unlike the others, she had grown up knowing Earth's secret. Her parents had been part of the program, and she had been trained from childhood for this moment. "I have an idea," Maya said, her voice clear and confident despite her nervousness. "What if we reveal ourselves gradually? We could start by announcing that we've made a major technological breakthrough. Then, step by step, we introduce our advancements to the world." The room fell silent as they considered her words. It was a middle ground between total secrecy and full disclosure. "And what about the Empire's diplomats?" asked Admiral Jackson. Maya smiled. "We meet with them, but not as the primitive world they expect. We show them some of our advancements, enough to make them cautious, but not everything. We keep our biggest secrets, like the wormhole technology, hidden for now." President Chen nodded slowly. "It's risky, but it could work. We control the narrative, both for our own people and for the Empire." As the leaders discussed Maya's plan, refining the details, screens around the room suddenly lit up with urgent news alerts. Reports were coming in from astronomers around the world of strange objects approaching Earth. The Empire's diplomatic fleet had arrived earlier than expected. "They're testing us," Admiral Jackson growled. "Trying to catch us off guard." President Chen stood up, her face determined. "Then we need to make a decision now." All in favor of Maya's plan. One by one, hands went up around the room. It wasn't unanimous, but it was a clear majority. "All right," Chen said. "Let's do this. Dr. Rodriguez, prepare a demonstration of our new technology for the Empire's diplomats. Admiral Jackson, put our fleet on high alert, but keep them hidden. Maya, you'll be part of our diplomatic team." As the meeting broke up and people rushed to their tasks, Maya felt the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders. The future of Earth, perhaps of the entire galaxy, would be shaped by what happened next. In orbit, the Empire's ships hung like silent predators. On board, the diplomats prepared for their mission, unaware that Earth was nothing like what they expected. And in his cell in the Imperial Palace, Agent Zorn looked up as a guard approached. "The Emperor wants to see you," the guard said. Zorn stood, wondering what this could mean. As he was led through the palace halls, he couldn't shake the feeling that everything was about to change. The galaxy held its breath, waiting to see what Earth would do next. The sun rose over New York City, its light glinting off the tall buildings. But today was different. The streets were eerily quiet. Everyone was inside, glued to their screens, waiting for a historic announcement. President Chen stood before a sea of cameras, her face calm but her eyes betraying her nervousness. "People of Earth," she began, "today, we make history. We are not alone in the universe, and we are about to meet our galactic neighbors." As she spoke, explaining Earth's technological advancements and the arrival of the Empire's diplomats, reactions varied around the world. Some people cheered, others cried, and many simply sat in stunned silence. High above the planet, on the Imperial diplomatic ship, Ambassador Lyra adjusted her translator. "Remember," she told her team, "we're dealing with a primitive species. Be patient and don't overwhelm them." Little did she know what awaited them on the surface. At the chosen meeting site, a large field outside of Geneva, final preparations were underway. Dr. Rodriguez checked her holographic projectors one last time. Admiral Jackson, hidden nearby with a squad of Earth's advanced soldiers, ran through emergency protocols. And Maya, the young diplomat, took deep breaths to calm her nerves. She would be Earth's primary spokesperson in this meeting. A low hum filled the air as the Imperial shuttle descended. It landed gracefully, and a moment later, the door opened. Ambassador Lyra stepped out, followed by her team. Their eyes widened as they saw the welcoming committee. Instead of primitive humans in simple clothes, they were greeted by people in sleek, advanced uniforms. Holographic displays flickered around them, showing data and star maps. Maya stepped forward, smiling. "Welcome to Earth, Ambassador Lyra. We've been expecting you." Lyra blinked in surprise. You know my name. And you have holograms." "We know much about the Empire," Maya replied calmly. "Please, let us show you what Earth is truly capable of." As they walked towards a nearby building, Dr. Rodriguez activated more holograms. Suddenly, the air was filled with images of advanced ships, space stations, and technology beyond even what the Empire possessed. Lyra's team whispered among themselves, clearly shocked. This was not the primitive world they had expected. Inside the building, Maya led them to a conference room. But as they sat down, alarms suddenly blared. Admiral Jackson burst in, his face grim. "We've detected multiple ships entering the solar system," he announced. "They're not Imperial." On screens around the room, they watched as strange, crystalline ships appeared near Mars. They were like nothing Earth or the Empire had ever seen before. A message crackled through the communication systems, in a language neither human nor Imperial translators could decipher. But its tone was clear. It was a threat. Lyra turned to Maya, her earlier composure gone. "What is this? Is this some kind of trick?" Maya shook her head, looking equally shocked. "This isn't us. We're as surprised as you are." For a moment, tension filled the room. The Empire diplomats eyed the humans suspiciously, while Earth's leaders looked at each other in confusion. Then, unexpectedly, Maya laughed. Everyone stared at her. "Don't you see?" she said. "This changes everything. Earth and the Empire, we're not enemies. We have a common threat now." Slowly, understanding dawned on their faces. Lyra nodded slowly. "You're right. Whatever these new aliens are, we need to face them together." President Chen stepped forward. "Ambassador Lyra, I propose an immediate alliance between Earth and the Galactic Empire. We'll share our technology, you'll share your experience. Together, we can face this new threat." Lyra hesitated for a moment, then extended her hand, or rather, her tentacle. "Agreed. For the sake of both our peoples." As they shook on their new alliance, the strange crystalline ships moved closer. The future of the galaxy hung in the balance, with Earth and the Empire now unexpectedly on the same side. In the Imperial Palace, Emperor Zax received the urgent news. He sat back on his crystal throne, a wry smile on his face. "Well," he muttered to himself, "this should be interesting." The stage was set for a conflict that would reshape the galaxy. And at the center of it all was Earth, a planet that had gone from ignored backwater to key player in galactic politics in a matter of days. The news spread across the galaxy like wildfire. Earth, once thought to be a backwater planet, had revealed itself as a technological powerhouse. And now, Earth and the Galactic Empire were joining forces against a mysterious new threat. On countless worlds, beings of all shapes and sizes huddled around view screens, watching as the drama unfolded. The balance of power that had held for millennia was crumbling before their eyes. In the Andromeda system, a group of small, furry aliens called the Fluffs saw an opportunity. If Earth could hide its true power, their leader squeaked, "Maybe we can too. Let's build our own secret fleet." Meanwhile, on the desert world of Zarkon, protests erupted. The lizard-like inhabitants had long chafed under imperial rule. Now, they demanded independence. If Earth can stand up to the Empire, they hissed, so can we. Back on Earth, the situation was tense. The crystalline ships of the unknown aliens hovered at the edge of the solar system, silent and menacing. In the underground base beneath the Rocky Mountains, Earth and Imperial leaders worked frantically to prepare a response. Maya, the young diplomat who had helped broker the alliance, paced nervously. "We need to understand who these new aliens are," she said. "Maybe we can communicate with them." Dr. Rodriguez nodded. "I've been analyzing their ships. The technology is like nothing I've ever seen. It's almost alive." Ambassador Lyra, still struggling to accept Earth's sudden rise to power, spoke up. "In all my years of diplomacy, I've never encountered a species that didn't want to talk. There must be a way to reach them." As they debated, alarms blared. Admiral Jackson rushed in, his face grim. "The crystalline ships are on the move. They're heading towards Venus." On screens around the room, they watched as the alien fleet approached Earth's sister planet. Suddenly, beams of light shot out from the ships, enveloping Venus in a strange, shimmering field. "What are they doing?" President Chen asked, her voice barely a whisper. Dr. Rodriguez's eyes widened as she read the incoming data. "They're terraforming Venus. In minutes, they're doing what would take us centuries." The implications were staggering. A race with the power to transform planets at will could reshape the entire galaxy. In the Imperial Palace, Emperor Zax received the news with growing alarm. He turned to his advisors. "We need every ship, every soldier we have. This is no longer about Earth. The entire galaxy is at stake." As the Empire mobilized its forces, smaller worlds saw their chance. Rebellions broke out on a dozen planets. The Fluffs unveiled their own, rather cute, battle fleet. The lizards of Zarkon declared independence. The galaxy was in chaos. Back on Earth, Maya had an idea. "What if we use Earth's wormhole technology to jump a small team onto one of the crystalline ships? Maybe we can communicate with them directly." It was a dangerous plan, but with time running out, they had few options. A team was quickly assembled. Maya for diplomacy, Dr. Rodriguez for science, an Imperial soldier for security, and Admiral Jackson to lead. As they prepared for the jump, tension filled the air. This mission could determine the fate of not just Earth or the Empire, but the entire galaxy. Just before they left, President Chen pulled Maya aside. "Be careful," she said. "And remember, sometimes the greatest weapon is understanding." With a flash of light, the team vanished, reappearing moments later on the bridge of a crystalline ship. They found themselves surrounded by strange, glowing beings that seemed to be made of pure energy. For a moment, there was silence. Then, to everyone's surprise, one of the energy beings spoke. Its voice was like music and thunder combined. At last, it said, "We've been waiting a long time for someone to reach out." As Maya stepped forward to respond, she realized that this conversation could change the course of galactic history. The fate of worlds hung on her next words. Back on Earth, in the Imperial Palace, and on countless planets across the galaxy, everyone held their breath, waiting to see what would happen next in this new era of galactic politics. The crystalline ship hummed with energy as Maya faced the glowing beings. Her heart raced, but her voice was steady. "We come in peace," she said. "We want to understand why you're here." The energy beam's voice resonated through the ship. "We are the Luminars. We travel the universe, seeking worlds to improve. We thought your species too primitive to communicate with us directly." Dr. Rodriguez stepped forward, her scientific curiosity overcoming her fear. "The terraforming of Venus. Was that an improvement?" "Yes," the Luminar replied. "We make worlds habitable. It is our purpose." Admiral Jackson frowned. "But you can't just change planets without asking. That's invasion." The Luminars seemed confused. "We bring life to dead worlds. How is this wrong?" Maya saw the problem. Two very different viewpoints were clashing. She took a deep breath. "I think we need to talk more," she said. "There's a lot we can learn from each other." Back on Earth, in the underground base, President Chen and the others watched the conversation through the team's cameras. Emperor Zax, joining via hologram, leaned forward. "This is unprecedented," he muttered. As Maya and the Luminars talked, a plan began to form. The Luminars had the power to transform worlds, but lacked understanding of complex societies. Earth and the Empire had the diplomatic experience the Luminars needed. "What if," Maya suggested, "we work together? You help us terraform uninhabitable planets, and we help you understand which worlds are off-limits." The Luminar leaders conferred, their glow pulsing. Finally, they agreed. "A partnership," they said. "This is acceptable." As news of the agreement spread, the galaxy let out a collective sigh of relief. The threat of war was over, replaced by an opportunity for unprecedented growth. In the following months, changes swept across the galaxy. Earth took its place as a major power, its advanced technology now known to all. The Empire, humbled by the experience, began reforms to give its member worlds more autonomy. The Fluffs, inspired by Earth's example, revealed their own hidden talents in biotechnology, becoming valuable allies. The Lizards of Zarkon, granted independence, joined a new galactic council where all worlds had a voice. And the Luminars, guided by their new allies, began transforming uninhabited planets into paradises, creating new homes for overcrowded species. 1 year after the first contact, Maya stood on a balcony of the new Galactic Council building on a neutral planet. Below her, representatives from hundreds of worlds mingled. She saw the furry Fluffs chatting with the scaly Zarkons, Imperial diplomats laughing with Earth scientists, and Luminars floating serenely among them all. President Chen joined her at the railing. "Quite a view, isn't it?" she said. "Did you ever imagine this when you proposed your crazy plan a year ago?" Maya shook her head, smiling. "Never. I just wanted to avoid a war. But look at what we've achieved instead." Inside the council chamber, Emperor Zax, now more of a ceremonial figurehead, called the meeting to order. "Today," he announced, "we vote on the formation of the United Galactic Alliance, a new government where all worlds have equal say." The vote was unanimous. As cheers erupted, Maya felt a tap on her shoulder. She turned to see Agent Zorn, the Imperial spy whose capture had started this whole adventure. "I never thank you," he said. "Your actions didn't just change the galaxy. They gave me a chance to be more than just a spy. I'm heading up the new Galactic Exploration Corps." Maya grinned. "Second chances for everyone, it seems." As the celebration continued, Dr. Rodriguez rushed up, her eyes shining with excitement. "Maya, the Luminars just agreed to help us build a Dyson sphere around a dying star. Do you know what this means for energy production?" Maya laughed. The possibilities seemed endless. Earth had gone from a forgotten backwater to a key player in the galaxy, and she had played a part in making it happen. As she looked out at the stars, Maya wondered what new adventures awaited. The galaxy was vast, full of undiscovered wonders and potential new friends. One thing was certain: the future was bright, and Earth was ready to face it head-on.